Chase Elliott accidentally drives up on the racetrack when exiting pit road. Corey Heim takes out Carson Hocevar intentionally, and Austin Dillon does whatever this is. These are some of NASCAR's most boneheaded fail moments ever, and we're going to be looking at more of those right now.
Debris on the racetrack, and the flames rolling out from the right side of the 7 of Alex Bowman.
You know, we've seen this before at the short tracks. The 7 had an issue with the right front tire. It looked like he melted the bead, came down pit road, got a new tire on it, but didn't clear all the old rubber, I'm assuming, off. Well, no, I disagree.
Yeah, we're going to disagree. It is not out, and the driver's climbing out of the car. That's Alex Bowman jumping out of there.
I think he was telling him to get out. At least that's what he needed to be telling.
Yeah.
And what happens
there's a fire suppression system under there that will try to help put that out.
It tries to help, but that fire is what was left of the flat tire on the right front brake rotor. These brake rotors are ridiculously warm. And what happens is after you remove the old tire and put the new one on, if there's still some strings or some cords on there, that's really just like a wick to a candle. And once it hits that hot rotor, you see what happens.
This has to be one of the most hilarious pit road exits I've ever seen in NASCAR. First off, Alex Bowman's right front tire catches on fire and he drives out of his pit stall. I guess he realizes this is on fire, I need to stop. So he does the right thing. He stops and gets out of his race car and waits for the safety crew. Well, they took forever to get there. Thankfully, it wasn't an accident. They finally get there, and then one of the safety crew people right there just falls on the ground with the fire extinguisher. It was just a disaster.
We had a tire get loose on pit road, and that's brought the caution out.
Yeah, they've had to waive the caution because a mechanic walked out halfway out to the racing surface to get it. It's from Marcus Ambrose's car.
I'm going to tell you what, NASCAR is not going to be happy with that crew member at all. He was halfway across the infield grass.
Thought he was
there you see the tire right there.
He was doing a good thing. We saw the tire rolling out there.
You can see it's halfway across that grass.
He's thinking it's going to roll out in the racetrack, so I think he was obviously wasn't thinking clearly enough to know not to do that, but still he probably thought he was doing a good thing by retrieving it.
Well, back in the 60s, photographers used to stand in that grass to shoot pictures of the race cars going around. That was a long time ago.
Let me tell you what this caution has done. We only have 6 cars on the lead lap because a lot of our guys up front, like Kurt Busch.
Oh, no.
Kyle Larson. Backstretch.
Off of 2. Kevin, you had just told us about how narrow it is over there. There's another problem. There's a bump.
Yeah, and the way that these cars run, a lot of times they bottom out and it'll just jump the back of the car out from underneath you.
Boy, that car's hurt.
Rolling if you can.
Larson was running 19th when the car got out from under him.
In 2012, Danica Patrick took a few races to race the NASCAR Cup Series to prepare herself for her full-time season in 2013. And she learned some lessons, and she learned them very quick. She was upset at Kansas when Landon Castle decided that she wanted to wreck him. So she went into turn number 1 and hit Landon Castle. I guess she didn't anticipate her car to spin also. Her car would spin and then she would overcorrect and go back up into the wall, damaging her race car. Do you know how much damage Landon Castle got in his race car? 0. While racing for the lead with less than 10 laps to go, Kyle Busch was flat out dominating the day at Martinsville in 2009. Kevin Harvick got into his back quarter panel of the 51 truck and crushed in the sheet metal into his right rear tire. Kyle Busch quickly noticed this and was helped by a caution. With the caution coming out, Kyle Busch and his team was able to investigate the damage to figure out how bad was it. Kyle Busch even attempted to fix some of it by scraping his side of his race car up against the backstretch wall. It sounds pretty genius, honestly, until Kyle Busch would cross over the pit road commitment line, and he would not pit. He was given a penalty so quick that he was furious, and he came to serve his pit road penalty. After it was all said and done, Kyle Busch would finish 17th on the day, and he would storm out of the track, extremely frustrated.
No, actually, you saw on the front stretch, he laid back a little bit so the team could check the left rear damage, the tire smoke there coming from a tire rub, and they just told him, Kyle, we have the binoculars out, as you saw there on the pit box, you have cords showing.
I believe he went over the commitment line.
He was on the commitment line on the backstretch.
I think he was too. He's trying to scrub the wall maybe with that fender to squish it in, but I think he went over the white line. You can't cross that white line
and not go onto pit road. He had all 4 tires on the commitment line and then went back out on the racetrack.
Yeah, I think that may result in a penalty from NASCAR.
Yeah, you got to come to pit road once you cross the commitment line. That white line is the commitment line. The yellow one is the speed line.
Right. Kyle Busch climbing out of his truck, obviously disappointed, disgusted with the way this one ended.
He was a benefactor of that caution. There's contact between Brad Keselowski, and the round goes Chase Briscoe. Into him goes Kyle Busch. And there's a traffic jam, and Hamlin was in it. Elliott gets tagged later on around through turn 4.
Team, it's really good. Building free a little bit, but I burned off the tires at the start. Tire off on Bubba Wallace's car.
No. We saw it leave. The team tried to stop him.
Stop right there, stop right there.
All right, on the radio, they're telling him to stop. The 19's got to help him. They're going to try to put this tire back on. That's a Toyota teammate. Pit stop, come right to life. They're going to jack it up. Someone could tell them the tire they need is over here. See if they can put it back on. There you go. Crew members bringing it over. Nice work by the 19. I mean, it's going to kill the 23's chance of perhaps winning, but what great work by the 19 to help the 23. We watched it happen live. He left. There were sparks up the left front. Tire changer wasn't done. Oh, it's gone around.
Hold it down,
Blaney.
hold it down. Roll to the bottom and roll here.
What has happened?
Yellow's out.
Larson from way back to the bottom of the racetrack, slides up and just runs into Blaney. Bam! Blaney's going to be hot about that.
And Jeff Burton was right about that. Ryan Blaney had a full reason to be upset at Kyle Larson. I still don't know why Kyle Larson would have done this. I understand, like, maybe if it's the last lap where you're trying to get closer to him, but he just flats out overdrives the corner almost intentionally and then spins out Ryan Blaney. Extremely uncalled for and extremely irresponsible by Kyle Larson. When battling on the track, Joe Gibbs Racing drivers Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin were battling non-playoff driver Ty Gibbs. Bell and Hamlin were already in the playoffs and they needed as many points as they could get. Gibbs was holding them up, and it was pretty stupid on his part because Denny Hamlin had enough.
Sure, they're done. I think they're very frustrated with one another. Oh, here we go. Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yes, sir.
Gibbs goes around
Yellow's out.
off the front end of Hamlin.
Leaders is off of 4.
Look at him shake his head on the bottom left. Danny Hamlin's frustration. That move in 3 and 4.
Young driver trying to make his way, 2 drivers behind him in the playoffs. Ty Gibbs just not giving any ground whatsoever. This will be an interesting Monday for all these guys to sit down and have conversations.
It will, and I'm trying to put myself in Chris Gabehart or the executives at Gibbs' position because, you know, I want every driver to give me the best for their car.
2 of the biggest stars in NASCAR are Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace, and they tangled in 2022 in Las Vegas. Larson would overdrive the corner in turn 3 and 4, slide up the racetrack and put Wallace in the wall. Kyle Larson would then be turned by Bubba Wallace on purpose across the front stretch to make hard contact into the outside wall. Bubba Wallace was extremely upset at the move Larson had pulled and wanted to show him that he was not going to take it. He would walk down to Larson's car and start shoving him after they got out of their cars after the accident. Yikes. Talk about flipping yourself after trying to wreck your competitor. Corey Lejoy is making an enemy, and it's himself. This is one of the most embarrassing moments in NASCAR history.
Makes contact, and then there, as soon as the car gets sideways, there just lifts the car.
And again, to give you, well, let's hear from Dave first.
On pit road now is the 8.
AMR safety crew immediately to Corey as he climbs out of that race car. This is the 38 running the 10 all the way up the track, and then Danica into the wall. A tough situation for Danica Patrick as she comes down, and the 38 stops right in front of her.
Yeah, Danica.
And now they're not going to stop. It's not over.
Danica's upset at Gilliland.
Bowyer gets into Larson, and around goes the rookie.
Hold it up there. Lock it down.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my gosh.
Actually, goodness had nothing to do with it.
Well, you know, you can look at it any way you want to, but it's the start of the race. You know, got a good jump on the 2 car. He's in the middle, and Clint is right underneath him right there. You know, you could say that the 42 cut down in front of the 15. That's easy enough to call, but by the same token,
This was probably the dumbest thing that Clint Bowyer did at Richmond. Oh, wait, never mind. He already did something dumb. But besides that, Clint Bowyer drives it in so hard on the first corner of the very first lap in 2014 and takes out Kyle Larson. There was no reason for Bowyer to be driving in over his head like this, but unfortunately for Kyle Larson, he was the victim of Clint Bowyer overdriving the corner and being a complete dummy.
Yes, he is. Both of them.
Look at that. That's exactly. Oh! And around goes Truex. Not that much pressure. Still. Can he keep it going? He's going to spin around. Oh my gosh.
Caution waves to end the stage.
Got into the corner just like we were talking about. Chastain saw him coming.
You think these guys aren't digging for everything they've got?
Michael Waltrip will forever be remembered in NASCAR by one of the goofiest and successful drivers at Daytona, and he has done some wacky things in his career, either driving or television. In 2015, he dropped a taco on Denny Hamlin's car that went in the track bar. He can't even make adjustments if that would have messed up, so he better be thankful for that. But it was all wild and crazy in 2025 when he accidentally, or on purpose, dropped the caution flag on the racetrack after he waved it. Yeah, you heard that right. Waltrip dropped the yellow flag on the racetrack in the middle of the All-Star race. The 2020 Martinsville playoff race was extremely heartbreaking and probably one of the lowest moments in Kevin Harvick's racing career. Kevin Harvick had a stellar season with the most wins, the most top fives, the most top tens, the most laps led, and it all came down to Martinsville where he had a horrible race. He had to pick up one more position on the final lap, and it was to Kyle Busch. He would drive it into turn number 3 and 4, hit Kyle Busch in the exit of the corner, and ultimately spin himself out and Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch wouldn't even lose any positions. It would be Harvick, and Harvick would miss the final 4.
Can Harvick do it? The final turn. He needs the position.
Oh, Harvick spins the 18.
Turns into the 18. He turns as well. The 18 crosses the start-finish line, and Harvick is going to be out of the playoffs. The question was asked earlier, what would you do?
What are the emotions in not doing that?
You know, look, these championships aren't like winning like Petty and Earnhardt used to win them. You have to, put them together 3 weeks at a time. And, it comes down to one race, and it came down to one race for us tonight and came up short.
This is probably one of the dumbest things that Kyle Busch has ever done in his NASCAR Cup Series career. In 2010, he beat the pace car out at Texas, but ultimately he sped on pit road. NASCAR would then black flag Busch, and he was unhappy. When he would come in to serve his penalty, he would then flip off an official and cuss out NASCAR. He was then held for another 2 laps for unsportsmanlike conduct, the first in its kind.
NASCAR official. That's Kyle Busch's radio. Remember the little gesture that we had to apologize for? It's going to cost him 2 more laps. NASCAR is going to pull him in.
You're too hard for this. You're costing us. 0, park it for 2 laps.
So a bad break turned into a bad situation, and it's gone to worse. Battle for 5th over on the right side.
I'm the only one that'll stand up to them, but they'll show me how far to stand up.
How about Harvick, Hamlin, Bowyer, all in line right there.
If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, if you've liked this video, I'm pretty sure these videos will catch your eye also.